Hey Jeff, you should come look at this thing. Jeff?
The clip you just watched was from the Cartoon Network animated show Clarence.
He won't. He'll only do a little bit.
He's gonna get tired out eventually.
He's gonna get tired and then he's gonna grow old.
And this is that show's creator and part-time showrunner, Skyler Page. I say part-time because, as a few of you may be aware, Skyler Page hasn't been in the animation industry for a while now, and the reasons for that are quite disturbing. It's no secret that over the past few decades now, the entertainment industry has been known to house some of the most degenerate people known to man. But what makes this one different to me is that he is not only responsible for one of the most innocent and heartwarming animated shows I've ever watched, but also has indirectly been responsible for a lot of the success of this very channel. Some of my most popular videos are Clarence related, and if he never created the show, I probably wouldn't be where I am right now. And it was after reading this comment in particular that I started to question just how much I could separate art from artists in this scenario, and with a lot of other media that I consume. Should certain people's art be boycotted? Does it even really matter whether your favorite art comes from questionable sources? The downward spiral of questions I went into would honestly make Implement proud. So, in order to answer these questions, I feel the best place to start would be the history of the creator, the show, as well as my personal attachment to. Also, look at the Patreon, link in the description. Skyler Page, like a lot of his colleagues, was a graduate of the California Institute of the Arts, CalArts for short. While there, he would meet friend and eventual creative director of Clarence, Nelson Bowles. The two of them came up with the idea of the show while in college, and when Page began writing and storyboarding for shows like Adventure Time and Secret Mountain Fort Awesome, this gave him the perfect opportunity to pitch his show. The pilot was produced, and the show was greenlit. It even earned Page a nomination for a Creative Arts Emmy Award in 2013. The show premiered to an audience of about 2.3 million people on April 14, 2014, beating out a lot of competitors for that specific age demographic. If you're Skyler Page and his team right now, you must feel on top of the world. You've grinded, worked your way up the ladder, and now you're finally doing the thing you've always wanted to do. Little did you know that 3 months later, his career would be, to put it simply, finished. In June of 2014, Lyle Partridge, a storyboard artist on Adventure Time, made some serious allegations of sexual assault towards Skyler Page. This was compounded by rumors circulating before this that Page used to, quote-unquote, grope women without their consent. He was quickly fired the following month, with Nelson Bowles becoming showrunner in his place. Apparently, Page also suffered from bipolar 1 and was known to have manic episodes, which has been corroborated by people who worked with him, but that obviously doesn't excuse anything he did. In 2021, he finally publicly addressed these allegations, confirming that they were indeed true. The apology itself is honestly not very good. He never outright says he's sorry for S-ing a woman, and instead says he's sorry for acting like a hotshot and being inappropriate to women. He ends the thing off by saying, "Should I be fortunate enough to work alongside you good folks once again, you can be sure to expect the utmost respect and dignity out of me." He hasn't worked in the animation industry since. That begs the question though, how did the show manage to survive something like the man responsible for the concept and the man voicing the main character himself leaving? When it comes to public figures that have been outed for being horrible people, a lot of the time their previous art comes into question. Many times we see artists have very sneaky ways of showing their true selves in their art, whether intentional or not. When R. Kelly was being persecuted and people started to go back to his music, as well as digging deeper into his relationship with Aaliyah, it proved that hindsight is indeed 2020.
I'm fighting for my life! Y'all killing me with this!
A lot of the time we're surprised that we never saw the signs just because the person in question was popular. There's an episode of The Bill Cosby Show that never ceases to amaze me when it comes to this phenomenon. A part of the episode is Mr. Huxtable, played by Bill Cosby, using a secret ingredient in his fried chicken for the cookout. This ingredient turns out to be an aphrodisiac that makes everyone at the party, I'ma just show you.
Me. Great idea. I think that I have a few hot moves myself.
And it's crazy because this dude was actually doing this in real life. The gall to put this in your show when you know you're out here doing these things is bold as hell. And again, nobody questioned it at the time, but hindsight is 2020. I'm not even going to talk about Diddy. I bet you thought that's where I was going. Nah, I'm not doing that today. In Clarence's case, though, this same logic can't be applied, which I think helped the show's case a lot. It was generally a safe children's show that was still suitable for all ages. It doesn't really show any of the tendencies that would be displayed in Page's character. This also can't be applied to many other cases. Dan Schneider is infamous for inserting a lot of his personal fetishes into shows directed towards children. I wasn't around for a lot of the shows he produced, but even back then I doubt nobody saw this as strange. When the Quiet on Set series came out earlier this year, and it came to light that he was doing incredibly creepy stuff towards the child actors, it all made perfect sense. When John Kay was outed for dating underage girls, it was a bit less surprising considering this was the same mind that came up with Ren and Stimpy. Clarence managed to duck all of this and continued to thrive on the network purely because it wasn't indicative of any of Page's misconduct, and he was fired very early on in the show's history. We'll get to the actual production history of the show a bit later. Something I noticed while I was writing this script is that oftentimes TV shows and movies get a lot less negative feedback than other forms of entertainment, mainly music. I think it boils down to the fact that music has a lot more personal connection to the artist, as they are the main one carrying the art on its back. Sure, there's producers, sound engineers, etc., but when you think of Graduation, you think of Kanye. The phrase, "but he made graduation," is a prime example of people defending the art of a person whose character has been publicly criticized. Ye is easily one of the most controversial figures in entertainment right now, but when you look at how people still talk about his catalog, you wouldn't think that. Was his music just that good that people are willing to look past a lot of his questionable behavior? Or does it not even matter that much in the first place? Well, it obviously does to some extent, in the case of his most recent music. Vultures has a lot of questionable lyrics and themes on it that even his own fan base have criticized, leading to it becoming one of his worst received albums by far. It comes back to the point that I made before. If the art says something about the creator, people are more critical of it. Graduation is a great album, and he didn't call himself Ye Kelly on it, so people are more comfortable to talk about it in a positive light. Same can be said for Clarence. Amidst this rough patch in his history, it still wasn't defined by it, and it just kept on trucking on. And by it, I'm referring to the extremely talented people who worked on the show. It's clear that the departure of Skyler Page had a minimal effect on the show's quality. If anything, the show improved after he left. Not only that, but the public perception of the show changed from mixed back in the day to fairly well respected now, and I'm proud that I've been able to be part of that shift. When you realize that Page only has 3 writing credits on the entire show, the impact that he actually had on it as a whole diminishes greatly. While he still is responsible for the idea of the show, and he should be respected for that, I think that in this case, the creator cannot and should not hold any bearing on your opinion of the show. I would still recommend Clarence to anyone, and to me, it will forever be a good show with a mad creator.